Hi everyone, welcome to the Inspired Moment with Jumoke. My name is Jumoke Olaguju. I'm the creative director at the Inspired Design Clothing and director of the Inspired Design School of Fashion. It's an online fashion school. Okay, in the past I've been doing a series of tutorials and I've seen people engage with it, so I've decided to make this a little bit more formal so that we can have this every week. Okay, for now we'll be having it 6 p.m. every Sunday, but if I see that if it's not so convenient for some of us, we may change it, but for now we'll stick to 6 p.m. every Sunday. So make sure you are following the page or the YouTube channel, the Inspired Design School of Fashion, or you are on our Facebook group, the Inspired Design School of Fashion, and turn on notifications for my posts so that you don't miss any of this episode. This is the very first episode as the Inspired Design, as the Inspired Moments with Jumoke. Okay, so I've decided to separate it from the Inspired Design School of Fashion so that we can have this another. Okay, it's all about learning from each other. Okay, the classes and the episodes will not only be about dressmaking, we'll have shoe making, we'll have bag making, we have different creative stuff, and sometimes we may have volunteers that will come and teach. And then we'll also talk about the business side of fashion, like how to register your business name, how to do pricing, stuff like that. So each week we'll have different stuff. For this week, this very first episode, we'll be learning how to make this simple circle top. It's a circle top. It's very simple. We just have this red block in between. Okay, I'm going to try and make all my classes simple, as in we're going to be doing simple styles, something that even beginners can follow. And then because I want to make it beginners friendly, this particular class is going to be a little bit long. I don't want the class to be too long. We're looking at maybe maximum of 20 minutes for all our classes. So if it exceeds 20 minutes, it should be just by a little. So this particular class will be divided into two sessions, two parts. In the first part, we'll do the drafting and the cutting of the fabric, and next week we're going to do the joining. All right, so that is it for that is what we'll be doing today. So let's get to the table and start working. So in today's class, we'll be doing a little bit of drafting. The top is a circle top, but I'm supposed to draft a complete circle, but I want to conserve my paper, and really I don't really need to waste the paper, so I'm going to draft like quarter of the whole circle. Now this point here is going to be my pivot point. This is the point where will be like the center of the circle. So from there, I'm going to insert the length of the top. What you need for this draft is the length of the top. So I want the top to be like 24 inches. So from this corner, I'm going to measure 24 inches down. So it's somewhere around the end of the paper here. Now, holding the tape measure down here, I'm going to try and how do I put it, measure like make markings of like 24 inches all around. Just watch what I'm doing. I'm just marking. I'm making sure that my tape rule is not moving from that corner, and I'm taking the length of my top. You can make yours longer or shorter depending on what you want. Okay, 24. I'm going to take it all the way to the side here. Then I'm going to try and connect all those dots to form like a curve. Okay, you can use freehand. You don't actually need a ruler. Just connecting all the dots. So after connecting the dots, this is the cutout. This is what your finished pattern should look like. Then we're going to go a step further and create the design in the middle of the top. All right, so let's label our pattern. This side here, we're going to make it our side seam or the shoulder seam, the shoulder area. So this is the side, and this will be the center front and also the center back, because the front and the back of this pattern is going to be the same thing. So this is the center front and center back. Now on the center front line, we're going to insert our the depth of the neckline, depending how deep you want it to be. I'm just going to use the standard, which is 3 inches. Okay, because I'm still going to do a little bit of opening at the down part, so I'm just going to mark 3 inches. And then at the shoulder or side seam here, I'm going to take the neck width. How wide do you want your neck to be? You can make yours bigger depending on the style of neckline you want to use. You can use a V-shaped neckline, you can use a cano neckline, any kind of neckline will go with it. And then I will mark the width of the neckline is 3 inches also. Okay, but for the back, I don't want the back to be as deep as the front. The back is going to be a little bit higher, so I'm not going to cut out the front since I'm using the same pattern for the front and the back. So let's take the back, the neckline for the back. So I want to use 1 inch for the depth of the back, so I'm going to mark it, and that is what I will draw out. So I'm going to connect the width to the depth. Okay, well, that didn't come out as I was. Okay, this is the neckline for the back. This is the side, this is the front. Now from this center front, now don't make a mistake, please, because if you take the measurement you're supposed to take from the center front and you take it at the side, is going to, you won't have the same result. So from the center front, I'm going to measure 8 inches all the way down. That 8 inches, well, one, it depends on you, but also I'm using the breast point as guideline. That is the measurement from one breast point to the other. That is 8 inches. Okay, but lest I forget, this is not a complete pattern. If this is the center front, there should be another half here, so I won't be taking the complete 8 inches, so I'll mark 4 inches. So when I put it together with the other one, I'll have the complete 8 inches. So I'm going to mark 4 inches all the way down, 4 inches all the way down to have that mark. You can decide how wide you want that center piece to be. You can make yours wider than mine, but that is what I want to use. So I'll use a different color marker to mark it. I'm just going to draw a straight line down. Okay, now from the top here, now I'll take the bust measurement, the bust depth from the top. The bust depth is like 9.5, so I'm going to mark 9.5. There won't be joining at this side, so I really don't need to add allowance here. Then the waistline, I'll use 15 inches, and the other part here is the hip line. So at the waistline here, I'm going to go in by 1 inch. I just want to create a style line. This also is optional. You can make it straight. You can make your design line straight. So I'm going to join the lines from these from the bust point here. I'm just going to take it in a bit. Sorry, I should use this space. I'm going to take it a bit, then come out again. I'm trying to create a curve. Then at the top here, I'm going to come out by 1 inch. Like I said, all this is optional. You can just make yours straight. So this is like the center pattern in the top. Let's cut it out. Remember, let's draw. Before I cut it out, I want to draw the neckline for the front, so that you can, it's two ways, you can draw it or you can leave it and then cut it out from your fabric. I'm going to draw it out with a red pen, so that when I'm done cutting the front, I can go ahead and use it to cut I'll cut out the back first and I'll use it to cut the front. Okay, all right, so let's cut out this is the back neckline. Remember, you're not cutting out the front neckline yet. Then I'll cut the piece here. Okay, now because this is this one now, this place is going to be on fold when you want to cut your fabric, and also you should label it. But for the front, I want to put a zipper in front, so I'm going to have 3/4 inch as allowance and then cut 2 pieces for the front. Then for the back, I'll just cut 1 piece. I'll cut this on fold for the back. Then you had 1/2 inch seam at this side, 1/2 inch seam here, and also at this point, this place will be on fold. This point here, the head, the place where we call the shoulder side, is going to be on fold when we're cutting our fabric. Okay, and we're going to cut 2 pieces of that. So now I'm going to lay down the fabric, then we'll cut this piece for the back and the front. We'll cut it from the red fabric, and we'll cut this one from the Ankara fabric. Okay, so let me lay down the fabric and cut. I've cut out the center pieces with the red fabric. So let me quickly show you. This for the center back. You just fold your fabric into 2, and on the fold here, you're going to place the place that will mark center back. So I've just placed it on top. Add your seam allowance here, and at the top, at the shoulder and at the hem of the top. So you determine what you want to use for your seam allowance. At the top, even at the hem, you shouldn't use more than 1/2 inch, because there's a circle. If you use more, it will be difficult to turn it up. Okay, so that's it for the center back. So the center back, when you open it up, is going to look like this. For the center front, I said we're going to make it into 2 pieces, because I want to put a zipper in front. But if you want to use, you can make the top without a zipper in front. That's just my own preference. So you can make it without a zipper. If you are making without a zipper, you just cut it exactly as the back, and you can make the neckline deeper, so that the neckline is also the same thing. You can cut it the width of the neckline 5x4 or 4x4, whatever. But for me, remember, we still have just the neckline for the back here, which is 1 inch. I'm going to go down by 2 inches to make my 3 inches. I want my neckline to be 3 inches. So I'm going to go down by 2 inches more. This is the front. So I'm going to mark 2 inches and then connect it to it's still the same width. So make sure that you don't, where's the other ruler? Okay, make sure that you don't cut away from the shoulder. So I'm just going to try and connect it. You may not be able to see that, but basically what I'm doing is to deepen the neckline for the front. Okay, so I'm not cutting away from the shoulder area. And in cutting it, I've also added seam for my zipper allowance. I've added like 3/4 inch for the zipper allowance. I added 1/2 inch for the side seam here, and then 1/2 inch at the hem, 1/2 at the shoulder. Okay, so if you want to add any design, you can add it here, maybe like or something, but I'm going to leave it like this. But when I'm inserting the zipper, I'm not going to get all the way to the top. My zipper is going to stop like 3 inches before getting here. So my zipper is going to stop somewhere here, but you can take yours all the way to the top. It's just going to be high neck. So there's going to be like an opening between the neckline here and the zipper. I'm not going to cut it open. When I am doing the facing, I'm just going to close this part. We'll see it when I start cutting. So that's it for the center piece. For the main piece, I folded my fabric into four. The way that I would usually fold it if I want to cut a complete circle. So this is it, folded into two. Remember that the length of my blouse is of my top is 24 inches. So I'm just going to cut like 25. So I've folded. This is my fabric is like 25 inches. It's not even up to, it's 24 and a half here. 24 and a half folded into two. This is the whole length of the fabric, and you have to make sure that your fabric is long enough. I want to cut the two pieces together, the left and the right piece. So I'm going to fold it over again, making 4 folds. Then I'm going to place my pattern on it. If your fabric is not enough to cut the two pieces at the same time, you can cut it separately. So when I'm cutting, I must remember that this my side seam or the shoulder seam is on fold. So I must place it at the side where my fabric is folded. Luckily for me, I can place it here because my fabric is, the two fabric is folded here and is also folded here. But I'm just going to go ahead and use this point. So at this point here, I'm going to add ½ inch for the seam. And at the hem also, I'm going to add ½ inch for the seam. So we'll just cut it out that way. Okay. Make sure it's not moving. When it's done, this is what you have. So I'm just going to mark this, the shoulder point, so that I don't make a mistake. Now when I want to stitch, this will be on one side, this will be on the other side, and the red pieces will be in the middle. For the front, we're going to have something like this, and the other part will go to the back like this. So what we're going to do is to first fix the zipper for this one first. Then we're going to join the back and the front together. But before we fix the zipper, we'll have to cut the lining or the facing. No, we're not going to be line. We won't line the top, but we'll have to cut a facing for the front and the back piece, this center piece. So we're going to cut a facing for that. So I'll just quickly show you how to cut the facing. Okay, so for the front, I'm cutting my lining piece to be exactly the same size with the front. Okay, I'm not cutting a facing. Ordinarily I should have cut a facing with this fabric, but it's a stretch fabric and it will be too bulky, so I'm using a lighter fabric for the lining, and that's what I'll be using to face it. It's exactly the same dimension and measurement with the front. Okay, but for the back, the reason I cut it like that is that because I need to face I want the zipper to be clean. So I need to face it in, and I don't want any of this hanging loosely at the side. So the other side is going to go into the side of the top. But for the back, I only need to face the neckline. So what I do is to fold your fabric into two, then place your folded back piece on top, cut out the neckline, cut out the shoulder, cut out the side and cut it up to the length you want. If you like, you can also make it complete like the front, but that is optional. The last piece is our belt. There's going to be a belt at the front. So for my belt, I'm using 23 inches of fabric. Like 23, you can make it 24, 26, depending on how long you want the belt to be and how you'll be tying it, by 5 inches. Okay, so 2 pieces of that for the belt. So let me just arrange all the fabric so that we'll see what we have. I'm going to turn this to the right side so that you can have an idea what this is going to look like. If you are an experienced designer or tailor, you already know where I'm going, so you can go ahead and finish your project. But for the sake of the beginners, we're just going to stop here this week so that to give you time to cut it. I don't want the class to be too long, otherwise people might lose interest. So this week we're just going to stop at the cutting of the fabric. So this is the back, the front is going to be on top. So next week I'll show you how to stitch everything together. So this is going to be like so. And then our belt is going to come at the waistline here. It's going to go inside the side seam here, or the center, whatever we call that part. So this is what the top is going to look like. You have an idea. So it's going to look something like this. You can now go ahead and put stone, put bead, whatever you want to use to design, put anything you want to put. Okay, so you can make your top anyhow. If you're experienced, go ahead and stitch your fabric. But if you're a beginner, don't forget to join me next week when we'll be stitching this. And if you are not yet following us on Facebook, the Inspired Design Clothing, or you are not yet a member in the Inspired Design School of Fashion, make sure you join, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Inspired Design School of Fashion, so that you get, and make sure you turn on the notification button so that you get notified every time we post classes, lessons and classes. I've decided I'll be posting new updates every week and making different styles, so don't miss out on this. Make sure you join. And if you would like to join our online school, you can call the number or send a WhatsApp message to the number on the screen so that we can give you details of our school. We'll have an online school where we'll teach dressmaking from A to Z, from scratch to the point you understand. We'll teach you the pattern drafting and how to stitch. So I look forward to seeing your projects if you are experienced. In fact, I want to see you make different things from this design. All right, bye. See you next week. Thank you.